You're listening to the Messengers of Hope Mission podcast with your host, Bob Gardner.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Glistening Glass. Glistening Glass is my company and is a residential window washing and gutter cleaning company. We service the northern Hillsborough and southwest Pasco County area. If you're interested in having your home windows or gutters cleaned, now is the time to call. 813-404-2300. That's Glistening Glass. Just some good news about the Messengers of Hope Mission podcast. We are on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, and soon to be YouTube Podcast. Check us out, follow us, and share us with your friends. Hey everyone, this is Bob with Messengers of Hope Mission, and of course you're listening to the Messengers of Hope Mission podcast. But I didn't have to tell you that. You already knew that. So if you listened to last week's podcast, you know that I had worked on one and then I scrapped it in lieu of the one that I actually put out. And I've been doing that again today. I've been kind of going back and forth with the topic that I was working on, and it just didn't seem to click this week. So I'm going to put that on the back burner again, and instead I'm going to share something that happened today. So it might be a shorter podcast than normal, but I think it's a very interesting one, and is one that has been on my mind all day since this has happened. So a little backstory before I get into the topic. We are getting ready to have our garage sale this upcoming weekend. It is a big fundraiser that we do. And okay, this is a kind of a shameless plug for it, but it is also a little background for what's going on. So because of that, I've been doing a little bit of extra work at the building this week. I've been doing, getting things in order, trying to rearrange things, getting freezers moved around, basically playing musical freezers, because the rule is first in, first out. That's not our rule. That is a health and safety rule. Whatever comes in first has to go out first, and that is so that food doesn't go bad as it is there at a pantry. So working on that, and I had help this week with some of the volunteers, and we would put things in one freezer, and then we'd clean a freezer and we'd put things in another freezer. Plus we were able to share some stuff with other pantries this week because we had more frozen food than we actually could store. So we actually emptied out a total of 6 freezers, but that's okay because we're going to fill it up. I already filled up 2 more today. And if you watch the short video that I posted, we had a freezer donated to us by Steve and Sally Wallace in honor of Sally's sister who passed away this year. So I gave them a shout out in that video, and I want to do it again here on the podcast. I want to thank them so much for doing that. And again, my condolences for the loss of Sally's sister. Back to the topic on hand. We have a bunch of freezers that are empty, and again, just kind of playing musical freezers with things and moving things around, sorting food that have come in, trying to consolidate pallets of food because we get it by the pallet load, and moving things around so we can get ready for the garage sale because we have to pull all that stuff out for this Saturday. And let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff. Shameless plug. So I spent the day up there yesterday, which was Monday, and then I was up there again today. I went and did the pickups. One of my board members, Deb, also did a pickup today, and Steve Wallace went to Feeding Tampa Bay and did a pickup there for us. So we had a lot coming in today. So after Deb had left and I was waiting for Steve, I was getting some things in order, and a car pulled up, which isn't unusual. It happens a lot because it's not just our parking lot. There's a couple other businesses in there, so it doesn't really register all the time that that's happening. Well, this person walked up. I had the bay doors open and I was working, and she walked up and she said, "Is this the food pantry?" And I was little surprised because we're not open on a Tuesday, but I said, "Yes, this is." And she goes, "You're very hard to find." And standard operating procedure in place, I let her know that the pantry at our location at the warehouse is on the first and third Sunday from 12 to 1. However, she was there and I wanted to make sure her needs were taken care of. So I got to talk to her a little bit, and I found out that she had been living in her car and she really didn't have anything, didn't have enough certainly to make it through to Sunday, let alone anything past that. So I gave her the information for Sunday, and then I said, "Give me a couple minutes," and I put a box of food together, some MREs, some drinks, some protein bars, the kind of granola bar things, some fruit snacks, and some drinks, water, and then cans of different juices and things like that. And I brought that to her, and she was just in tears over this. She was so excited and happy about it. And as she was getting ready to leave, I remembered we had fruit, so I flagged her down, and I brought her a bag of apples. And it was just heart-wrenching to hear what she said. She goes, "I'm going to eat one of these right now. I can't even wait to eat the food you gave me." And I felt so good and so bad all at once, so good that we were able to give this lady the food, and so bad because of how much in need she was. And let me tell you, she tore into that bag of apples and started eating one as she was driving out of the parking lot. I felt so bad for her, but hopefully she'll be back Sunday. She said she would, and we'll make sure that she has enough food. I didn't even catch her name, and she might have said it, but I've got Swiss cheese brain when it comes to remembering names. So that's why a lot of times if you're there volunteering, I don't call you by your name because I forget, or I tap the person that's closest to me and say, "Who's that?" So a lot of times I just don't remember names, and that is my fault. I should probably put more effort into it. This lady that showed up, just so excited to get the food, and it was just a blessing to be able to be there to give it to her. After she left, I went back about my business and started working some more. And then something really unexpected happened, unexpected to me. We had some volunteers show up to actually help. This was not something that was planned. We had a couple volunteers show, and they started helping me sort through stuff and putting stuff away. And then when Steve got there with the stuff from Feeding Tampa Bay, we unloaded that. And Steve said that he could stay for a couple hours, and that freed me up to be able to do the other things I needed to do. So I am really bragging on my volunteers because they do a great job helping me. A lot of times people think that I'm up there doing all the work by myself. That's not the case. I have some amazing volunteers that really step up and do the work, and I am so very thankful for them. Which this has actually reminded me of something else that I had no plan on telling you about, but I'm going to tell you about it now. So after last week's podcast came out, I had a conversation with a person. This person shall remain nameless and genderless because they were a little embarrassed after the conversation. But they said to me, "Boy, I wish I could win the lottery so that I could do what you do." And I said, I don't understand. What do you mean you wish you could win the lottery? You can volunteer anytime you want. This person said, "No, I want to win the lottery so I can run a nonprofit and I don't have to worry about working." And I kind of laughed a little bit. I said, "You don't understand. I do have to work. Running the nonprofit is not something that I get paid for, nor is it something that I can do without some kind of financial burden." I don't want to say burden. Burden's too strong of a word, but kind of a financial stress on me and my family, because I could be working another job where I could be earning money. But because of what we do, Brenda and I have decided that this is important, and we will do everything we can to make sure that people's needs are met, even if it means that we have to self-sacrifice a little bit along the way. Understand that this is a labor of love. It's not like, we're suffering here. We enjoy this. We enjoy the fact that I can do this. And I do work. I wash windows, which, again, you'll notice that my business was the sponsor of this week's video, and that is perfectly fine by me because I want to support Messengers of Hope as well as other people that may sponsor this or donate. I do it as well. My family does it. So we are very much invested in Messengers of Hope and making sure that people's needs are met. So if I can switch gears a little bit and talk about this weekend's garage sale. So Saturday, February 3rd is the first garage sale this year. We'll probably have 2 or 3 throughout the year. And this is a big fundraiser for us. This is where we bring most of our money in via fundraising that is not done through private donations or churches or businesses or things like that. And when I say that we call it Pasco's biggest garage sale. And this time we're calling it Pasco's biggest garage sale, even bigger. And when I say it's Pasco's biggest garage sale, even bigger, I am really not overselling that. This garage sale is going to be the biggest one that we've ever had. And this is one that you're not going to want to miss. So if you're listening to this podcast, please share this information with others. Not everyone's going to hear this podcast before the garage sale. And if you are listening to this after the podcast or after the garage sale, then you're kind of missing out on that. We'll have another one either March or April. And then, of course, we'll have our fall one, which is usually sometime in October. So you're not going to be missing out completely, but this one is going to be amazing. I can tell you that the stuff that we have is far better than anything we've ever had before, and far, far, far more of it than we've ever had before. So make sure you're there at this garage sale because you're not going to want to miss it. And of course, right after Saturday's garage sale, we will be going out for our food distribution on Sunday. So whenever we have a garage sale on the same weekend we do a distribution, it makes it a very long and tiring weekend. So we need volunteers for both the garage sale and the distribution, which if you go to our Facebook page, we now have a sign-up sheet for volunteers. There's a link that you can go to right online and sign up for the dates that you would like to volunteer. And I'm asking people to do that because that helps me to understand and know who is going to be at the different locations so that we have enough volunteers on hand to get the job done. Well, that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Messenger Hope Mission podcast. I want to thank you for listening. I know it's a short one, but I've got a lot to do to be prepared for the garage sale, so I want to keep this one short. And I hope that next week's episode will be a little bit longer. I'll tell you a little bit about the garage sale, and then I think I'll have some good stories about the food distribution on Saturday and Sunday. Yes, even though we're having a garage sale, we have our food distribution on Saturday in Port Richey at Emmanuel Baptist Church. You're not going to miss that. And then also we have some really cool information coming up because we're going to be starting a new food distribution site, and we will be starting that one in March, the third week of March, and we'll talk about that more in upcoming weeks. And that is something that we're really excited about, but I don't want to get the cart before the horse. So look forward to seeing that information about the new stop coming up in March. Thanks for listening, guys. I'll catch you all later. Have a great week. This week's news for Messenger Hope Mission is that we are having a garage sale on February 3rd. That is Saturday, February 3rd from 7 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. We need volunteers to show up, and of course we need people to get the word out, as this is one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. We call it Pasco's Biggest Garage Sale, and we do so for a reason. And this time we're calling it Pasco's Biggest Garage Sale Even Bigger, because this garage sale is going to be the biggest one we've ever had. So you don't want to miss that. That's right at our location at 14426 Black Lake Road in Odessa, Florida. Make sure you come to volunteer, come to bring stuff to the garage sale that you want to donate, and of course, come to shop. We need chest freezers. And when I say chest freezers, I don't mean the upright ones. I actually mean the ones that the lid is on the top of the freezer, and we'd like to have them 14 cubic feet or more. We get a lot of frozen food, and we can fill our freezers very quickly before we have the chance to get it all out. So we do need those freezers. So it doesn't have to be new. It can be a used one. If you have one that you can donate, or you have the ability to get one for Messengers of Hope, please reach out to us on our Facebook page. Just DM us there, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. In keeping in mind with the chest freezers, one thing that we've had as a pipe dream for quite some time is a walk-in freezer. Not just a regular walk-in freezer, but one with a door big enough that we can actually roll a pallet jack and a pallet through the door. We need something like that because we get a lot of stuff at times, and it takes a long time to put it away. But if we're able to roll it into a freezer and work on it in there, the meat and other frozen food stays fresh and safer much longer than if we're, especially in the summertime, out in the heat. So if you have any way of getting us in touch with someone that would be able to help us with a walk-in freezer, or if you are like Jackson Davis and looking for an Eagle Scout project, this is the thing that would really be helpful to Messengers of Hope and to help you get your Eagle Scout project done. Now, out of the ones that I have listed, this one is probably the most important one in the near future, and that is we need a diesel bus mechanic. The difference between a regular mechanic and a diesel mechanic, from what I understand, is very different. It's like the difference between a MacBook and a regular computer that uses Windows. And then on top of that, you get a diesel bus, and it is much, much different than most other diesel vehicles. At least that is what I have been told. Now, we do have a mechanic that comes out and works with us once in a while, but he is quite pricey, and we can't afford to always get that done. We need oil change, and we need other fluids checked, and just basic mechanic stuff. And then there's some more advanced mechanic stuff that we need done. So if you are a diesel mechanic or know one that works on buses or has experience with buses, again, please reach out to us ASAP. And finally, I'm going to give one of our pipe dreams. This is a pipe dream that we've had ever since we've gotten our warehouse here in Odessa, is we would like a forklift. We have pallet racks that go up in the air as high as 12 foot, and it would be really, really nice to be able to have access to a forklift to put stuff on the higher shelves, and of course to remove stuff from the trucks and trailers that we have show up. So it would be great to have that instead of hand loading and hand unloading. So if that is something that you have the ability to help us us with, whether you have one to donate or you know a business that is looking to donate one, please again reach out to us here on Facebook and through the podcast as well. Okay, everyone, this is the point of the podcast where I get to make an appeal to you, the listener. Messengers of Hope is in need of volunteers to come help work at our warehouse. We have jobs as easy as sorting food and toiletries, items like light cleaning, all the way up to lifting and stacking of boxes. If you live in the greater Tampa Bay area and want to serve with Messengers of Hope, reach out today. Go to our Facebook page and message us directly. If you're not local or do not have the ability to volunteer at Messengers of Hope Warehouse, you can still make an impact. Messengers of Hope is in need of financial gifts. Donations are tax deductible as Messengers of Hope is a registered 501c3 nonprofit. You can go to our Facebook page and find an online donation portal or get the address and mail us a check. Any amount helps more than you may think. That's going to do it for this week's Messengers of Hope Mission podcast. In the words of Mother Teresa, if you can't feed 100 people, feed just one. This is Bob Gardner reminding you to make a difference in our world today. See you next time right here on the Messengers of Hope Mission podcast.